Hello, DVF casting team. My name is Shaya, and before we start, I just want to say thank you guys for the opportunity, for letting me send in my audition tape. This has been quite the experience and an eye-opening experience at that, and I'm just ever so grateful for you guys letting me do this. So thank you very much. Let's get started. So, like I said before, my name is Shia Robinson. I am 24 and my hometown is Springfield, Illinois. And my current occupation right now is that I'm an outfitter for a company called Truemaker, which Truemaker is a company that makes shirts fit a man's body. So we pretty much set up appointments with a man. We do a customer profile, see how the past shopping experiences were, and try to find where their problem is and see if we can help them out by giving them a shirt that actually fits their body. So pretty much my backstory starts from Springfield, and it's kind of like a suburban area, but I was raised by a single mother with two other siblings, older siblings, so it makes me a baby. And I mean, we were raised to have manners, but we also had a lot of freedom as kids, which I definitely did not take advantage of in a bad way. It was a really good thing. And also, so growing up, we struggled financially a bit, but that was probably my single and most biggest motivations to be better at any and everything. So it definitely helped me gain ambition and drive from ever since I was a young girl. I actually was considered weird by a lot of people in school, and I believe it was because of my dry and my sarcastic sense of humor, which I guess a lot of people weren't familiar with in Springfield, which I felt that was a compliment. So I'd rather be weird any day than normal. One of the things that was different about me as a kid, I really actually liked learning. I loved acquiring new knowledge about any and everything. The idea that I could have a conversation with almost any and everyone about any topic was very intriguing to me. So what would happen would be I would like to do my own work. There was a lot of kids cheating around me. I'm like, Shia, hey, you want to see this? And I'm like, no, because what's going to happen is we're going to have an exam on this in about 2 weeks, and then I'm going to have to cram and study for it, and then it's just going to be some more waste of time. So I didn't like the idea of cheating, and I didn't like the idea of having to learn it all over again at the end. So I definitely liked being accountable for my own work and knowing that I was actually gaining knowledge and learning something in school. I also had a really strong focus, not just on academics, but extracurricular activities as well. If it wasn't me doing my homework or studying, I was definitely in a club or in a sport. I love the idea that with a team, I was able to work really hard to get to a goal. And as myself, being able to push myself to new heights was very interesting because I was able to challenge myself and reach my goals. So definitely working hard in school and in extracurricular activities was the most important thing to me growing up, and still is. So to answer question 3, I definitely went to school for fashion. I started off actually as a marketing major, and I realized I didn't want to do it. I actually was only a marketing major because of simulation I did in high school, saying that my personality went well with this kind of area because it made me this much money and that's what I should be doing. But I realized that it wasn't correct. It didn't evaluate who I was, or what I did or what I wanted to do correctly. So after having myself sit down and thinking about it, it was like a moment where I had an epiphany, and I asked myself one question. I said, what is it that you really love to do and that you've been the most consistent at your whole life? And it hit me. I was like, fashion. I've always loved dressing up. Ever since I was a little kid, I would go in my mom's closet and sneak in there and try on like a bodycon dress with sequins or a leather jumpsuit. I, no joke, wore her leather jumpsuit, my 5th grade picture. And it's kind of disturbing yet really funny at the same time that I can even fit her clothes. But ever since I was little, I wanted to dress up. I would think of where I was going, who I was going with, what kind of scenarios I was going to be in. So it was definitely, it made me feel alive, different, in a different place, you know. And I think that that was good for me now because I can have an idea of where I want to go or what I want to do, to explore other cultures, to meet new people. So as I got older, in college and discovering that I wanted to be in fashion and major in fashion, I mean, it just made sense just because in high school I got best dressed and I knew that people looked at me, my peers looked at me and how I dressed, how I carried myself. It was never about what other people thought about me. I love dressing up because it simply makes me feel alive and makes me feel good that anything that comes my way during the day, I will be able to handle it because I'm ready for anything. So it's definitely a decision that I decided to make that was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. So. Okay, so question 4. So after I graduated, I moved to Chicago, and it definitely was a huge shift in my workload. I went from working and dancing and school, so doing 3 things at once, constantly being busy, to just working. And I was like, I need to find something to do. And there lied, you know, the answer. I was like, oh, well, maybe I can actually date some people. I'm stable, you know, not just in college, going back from my hometown to Bloomington Normal. I was, you know, here in Chicago, so I was able to date and have a stable relationship. So with that said, I'm currently single. If I meet someone, then it's, you know, then that's what it is. But I'm really currently just focusing on my career right now and trying to be successful and live out my dreams. Because I don't think there's anything more important than meeting someone at the right time and you both have a plan and you are, you know, on track with that plan. And we all know that plans don't always go accordingly as we want them to, but it's nice to have, you know, something to look at, something to look forward to, some ambition and something to drive you. And that's what I'm looking for now. So question number 5. So my friends would probably describe my personality first and foremost, which I, you know, had to do some inquiring about, but this is what I've been told. And they first mentioned that I'm a complete goofball. Like, I'm seriously goofy. And they know it. Like, I think that when they think of my name, they go, oh my gosh, she's crazy. You know, and, you know, that's why I enjoy life, and I think that being goofy, laughing, having fun, even laughing at yourself is so important because then you just realize that everything is not so serious. And I mean, life is so much more fun when you laugh. I couldn't ever do without laughing in my life, so it is very, very important to me. The second thing, I think that they would be like, you know what, she is definitely fashionable and always put together. And I will admit that I am that friend that they go to for fashion tips and advice, the good and the bad. And I mean, sometimes it's not always pretty, but I mean, you have to be honest, you know, with yourself and with your friends, and of course not rude, but you want to be able to, you know, be a friend. Then I would probably say that they would definitely say I was a strong person. strong and a hardworking person kind of go hand in hand. Like I've always had a lot on my plate, um, different activities, multiple jobs. I mean, I've always liked being busy. That meant I was being productive, and I just felt better about my day. I felt better about my life having to do multiple things at once. I mean, it was much more preferable than not doing much at all. So ever since I started college, like I mentioned a little earlier, dancing, which is pretty much like a full-time job, practices ran from like 6 o'clock to 10:30, 5 days out of the week. So you have those 4.5 hour practices, and then I became vice president of my dance team, which meant meetings outside of practices and other meetings. And then I was on the choreography team, which meant practices outside of practice. So, I mean, let's just say if I was to get paid for doing my job on that particular organization in college, I would probably have made a lot of money. Now, if there was something that my friends would want to say that might have not been, so good, I would definitely say it would be that I'm very strong-minded when it comes to a lot of situations, and I'm straightforward. Strong-minded, I'm very practical and logical about a lot of things, and I think I use my heart and my mind just as evenly, and that's really hard for some people to do. So when, discussing certain situations, I'm just like, okay, well, I'll give my advice and I'll give my honest opinion, and then I kind of, want it to be like that is that, so let's move on and to a different topic and change it. If it's something that you can change it. If it's something that you have no control over, then let's accept that and then let's move on. I can be blunt sometimes, but love giving my opinion. I love asking questions and inquiring about, things that I want to be more knowledgeable about. It's the only way that we really just gain knowledge. A lot of the times, if you don't speak up, you don't learn anything, or you might miss out on opportunities.